The Valhari research vessel quietly slid into Earth's orbit. The giant ship's engines barely made a sound as it moved above the blue planet. Captain Daesung stood on the bridge, his tall figure casting a long shadow. His iridescent skin shimmered with blue and green tones, showing his excitement. "Captain, our scans are complete," Science Officer Jun said. His skin flickered purple with interest as he studied the data. "These humans have only reached their own moon. Their spacecraft use chemical propulsion. By our standards, they are very primitive." Daesung nodded, his seven-fingered hand touching the control panel. "So they pose no danger to us. The High Council will be pleased. An easy world to bring into our alliance." The Valhari had explored space for 10,000 years. Their civilization had peacefully absorbed hundreds of worlds across 3 galaxies. Earth would be just one more in their collection. Ambassador Hejun entered the bridge. Unlike the military officers with their practical uniforms, he wore flowing robes that enhanced his color changes. "The diplomatic team is ready, Captain. We have studied their main languages and customs." "Good," Daesung replied. "Remember, we must appear friendly but impressive. The humans must understand our power while feeling safe." The landing site was chosen carefully, an open field near Seoul, South Korea. The Valhari ships descended slowly, making sure Earth's detection systems could track them. They wanted no surprises or fear. As Hejun walked down the ramp onto Earth's soil, he felt the planet's stronger gravity pulling at him. The air was thicker than he was used to, rich with oxygen. Around him, his diplomatic team's skin colors shifted nervously between yellow and green. The human delegation waited at a safe distance. Hejun was immediately struck by how small they were. Most stood less than 2/3 his height. Their skin was dull and plain. Browns, tans, and pinks that didn't change color at all. Their limbs looked weak, their bodies soft. They had no protective scales or natural armor. "Such fragile creatures," whispered Min, Hejun's assistant. "I'm surprised they survived long enough to develop technology." President Kim stepped forward from the human group. He was an older male with gray hair and a formal dark suit. "On behalf of all nations of Earth, we welcome you to our world," he said, bowing deeply. Hejun's translator converted the words perfectly. He bowed in return, his skin turning a warm golden color to show peaceful intentions. "We bring greetings from the Valhari alliance of 3 galaxies. We come as friends and explorers." The first meeting went smoothly. The humans asked simple questions about Valhari technology and culture. They seemed appropriately amazed by mentions of faster-than-light travel and antimatter power. They offered gifts of art and music, simple but charming. Hejun found their deference satisfying. Later that day, the Valhari established a temporary embassy in a building provided by the Korean government. Hejun sent his initial report to the High Council. Species shows appropriate respect. Technological development minimal. No space weapons detected. Recommend standard diplomatic approach for pre-warp civilizations. That evening, Hejun reviewed video footage of human activities collected by Valhari drones. He watched scenes from hospitals, sports events, and daily life. Something caught his attention. A human had cut their hand while cooking, but the bleeding stopped almost immediately. He watched more medical footage. A human with a broken bone was walking again in weeks. Another had survived massive blood loss that would kill a Valhari. Their healing abilities were remarkable for such physically weak beings. "Interesting," Hejun muttered, making a note in his personal log. He watched more videos. Humans lifting heavy weights. Humans running long distances without rest. Humans swimming in freezing water. Humans eating foods that contained mild toxins for pleasure. "A curious species," he said to himself. "Perhaps not as simple as they first appear." But these were minor observations, nothing to change his overall assessment. The humans remained classified as non-threatening primitives in his official report. Their unusual physical resilience was just a biological curiosity, nothing more. Hajum's skin flickered briefly to a cautious purple before returning to its calm blue. He closed the video files and prepared for tomorrow's formal reception. The High Council would be pleased with this easy diplomatic mission. Earth would join the alliance smoothly, like hundreds of worlds before it. If only he had looked deeper into those medical files. If only he had questioned why such fragile creatures could heal so well. If only he had wondered what that meant about their evolutionary history. But he didn't. Not yet. Junior diplomat Yuri walked through the streets of Seoul, enjoying his daily observation task. After 3 months on Earth, the Valhari diplomatic team had settled into a comfortable routine. Humans were respectful, even eager to please their advanced visitors. Today, Yuri was exploring human recreational facilities. His skin shifted to a curious yellow as he approached a large building with the word GM displayed outside. Inside, he heard strange noises, grunts, thuds, and occasional shouts. When he entered, his skin flashed bright orange with shock. 2 humans stood in a raised square platform surrounded by ropes. They wore padded gloves and were hitting each other with considerable force. Blood trickled from one human's nose. Both were sweating heavily. Around them, other humans cheered. A gym employee noticed Yuri's reaction and approached with a smile. First time seeing boxing. It's just a friendly match. Yuri struggled to maintain his diplomatic composure. They are injuring each other. For fun. Sure, the employee nodded. It builds strength, discipline, and character. Want to try? We have classes for beginners. No, thank you. Yuri said quickly, backing away. He needed to report this immediately. Back at the Valhari embassy, Yuri played the recorded footage for Ambassador Hejun. They call it boxing. Recreational combat. They strike each other until one can no longer stand. And humans of all ages participate. Hejun watched the video with mild interest. His skin remained a calm blue. Many species have ritual combat as part of their culture. This seems harmless enough. The participants are clearly consenting. But Ambassador, Yuri insisted, why would a supposedly peaceful species enjoy hurting each other? And look at their endurance. They continue fighting despite injuries that would incapacitate us. Hejun flicked his long fingers dismissively. Cultural peculiarity, nothing more. Focus on your diplomatic duties, Yuri. But Yuri was not the only one noticing strange things about humans. In the embassy's research lab, Science Officer Jun was examining the agricultural tools the Valhari had gifted to humans 6 weeks earlier. The design modifications humans had made were impressive. They've improved the efficiency by 23%, Jun told his assistant. And this material substitution, using their carbon fiber instead of our standard alloy, makes it lighter while maintaining strength. But they're primitives, the assistant replied. They shouldn't understand our technology well enough to improve it. Jun's skin darkened with concern. That's what worries me. Later that day, Jun requested a private meeting with Ambassador Hejun. He brought data tablets loaded with his findings. The humans are unusual, Ambassador, Jun explained, displaying charts and images. They learn faster than any species we've encountered at this development stage. Their engineers took apart our simple tools and understood the principles immediately. Hejun listened politely but seemed unimpressed. They're intelligent. We knew this. It's more than intelligence, Jun insisted. His skin pulsed with urgent purple tones. It's their adaptability. Look at these environmental readings. The screen showed humans living in extreme conditions, frozen Arctic regions, scorching deserts, high mountains with thin air, humid jungles. Most species evolve for specific environments, Jun continued. But humans thrive everywhere. They don't just survive. They build civilizations in conditions that would kill most beings. Hejun studied the data more carefully now. Interesting. Perhaps they've developed technology to compensate for biological limitations. No, Jun said firmly. Their bodies adapt. Their blood can carry different oxygen levels. Their skin changes color slightly with sun exposure. They can digest almost anything. And they heal with remarkable speed. What are you suggesting? Hejun asked. I'm suggesting we may have underestimated them, Jun replied. Their apparent physical weakness might be misleading. I believe we should conduct deeper studies before proceeding with full diplomatic integration. Hejun considered this. His skin shifted through thoughtful shades of blue and green. You may be right. I'll send a message to High Command. That night, Hejun composed a careful note. Humans display curious resilience and unexpected learning capabilities. Recommend deeper biological and sociological study before finalizing resource treaties. The response came the next morning. It was brief and dismissive. Focus on resource treaties as instructed. Primitives pose no concern. High Command has evaluated the situation. Your mission remains unchanged. Hejun showed the message to Jun. There you have it. We continue as planned. Jun's skin darkened to a worried purple. I hope High Command is right. They always are, Hejun replied, but his own skin showed a hint of doubt. A small patch of purple amid the confident blue. Neither of them noticed Yuri standing in the doorway, having overheard everything. That afternoon, Yuri returned to the gym, this time to watch humans lifting weights far heavier than their frames suggested possible. His skin flickered between curiosity and concern. Something about these humans wasn't adding up. The alarm blared through the Valhari embassy without warning. Ambassador Hejun's skin flashed bright red with alarm as he rushed to the communication center. The emergency signal was coming from the Mars observation post. Report, he demanded, his tall frame leaning over the console. The communications officer's skin pulsed with stressed yellow patterns. The Morve have entered this system, Ambassador. 6 warships. They're attacking the human mining outpost on Mars. Hejun felt his heart racing. The Morve were an aggressive species from a neighboring galaxy. Unlike the peaceful Valhari, they expanded through conquest rather than diplomacy. How many humans on Mars? Hejun asked quickly. Approximately 200 miners and scientists. The officer replied. They have minimal defenses, just basic life support and mining equipment. Hejun's skin darkened with determination. Contact Captain Dae-sung immediately. The Valhari must protect these humans. They cannot possibly defend themselves against Morve weapons. Within minutes, 3 Valhari warships broke orbit from Earth, accelerating toward Mars. Hejun joined Captain Dae-sung on the command ship. We should reach Mars in 6 hours, Dae-sung reported. But I fear it will be too late for the humans there. We must try, Hejun insisted. The Morve are merciless. These humans have no military training or weapons. It will be a massacre. Throughout the journey, the Valhari ships tried to contact the Mars outpost. Only static answered them. Hejun's skin became ashen with grief. He had failed in his duty to protect this primitive species. Approaching Mars orbit, announced the navigation officer. Sensors detect Morve vessels. Prepare weapons, ordered Dae-sung. We will avenge the humans at least. Wait, said the sensor officer, confusion evident in her shifting skin colors. The Morve ships are retreating. They appear damaged. Hejun and Dae-sung exchanged puzzled looks. Show me, the captain demanded. The main view screen activated, showing 4 Morve ships limping away from Mars. 2 others were missing entirely. Scan the surface, Hejun ordered. Are there any human survivors? The screen shifted to show the Mars outpost. Surprisingly, most structures remained intact, and there was movement. Humans in spacesuits were moving across the red sand. They survived. Dae-sung whispered in disbelief. How is this possible? The communications officer raised a hand. Ambassador, we're receiving a transmission from the surface. The screen changed to show a human face inside a helmet. The man had a deep cut across his forehead and dried blood on his face, but he was smiling. Valhari Embassy. This is Commander Jaiho of Mars Mining Outpost Alpha. Thanks for coming. But as you can see, we handled the situation. Hajum stepped forward. Commander Jaiho, this is Ambassador Hajun. We thought you were destroyed. How did you survive a Morve attack? Jaiho shrugged casually. They thought we'd be easy targets. We disagreed. Hajun's skin flickered with confusion. But you have no weapons, no military defenses. Jaiho's smile widened. We're miners, Ambassador. We have drills, explosives, heavy machinery, and ingenuity. Request permission to send you our security footage. You might find it educational. 1 hour later, Hajun, Dae-sung, and Science Officer Jun sat in stunned silence as they watched the recordings from Mars. The footage showed the Morve ships arriving, firing their first shots to disable communications. Then Morve soldiers, reptilian warriors in advanced armor, descended to the surface, clearly expecting to find cowering, helpless humans. Instead, the miners had organized a defense. They had converted mining drills into makeshift weapons. They had rigged explosive charges from their excavation work. They had even reprogrammed their heavy loaders to function as combat robots. Most shocking were the humans themselves. The footage showed a woman continuing to fight after a plasma blast had taken her arm. A man lifted a metal beam that should have been too heavy for his species, using it to block a doorway. 3 scientists had reconfigured an atmospheric processor to release gases that disoriented the Morve. Impossible, Dae-sung muttered as they watched humans in damaged suits, bleeding and injured, successfully fighting back against one of the galaxy's most feared warrior races. The final footage showed the Morve retreating in disorder. The humans had not only defended themselves, they had destroyed 2 enemy warships using mining explosives launched from improvised catapults. This defies all logic, Jun said, his skin pale with shock. These tactics should not have worked. The Morve outnumbered and outgunned them. Hajum stood up, his decision made. I must report this to High Command immediately. Everything we thought we knew about humans is wrong. In his private communication room, Hajun recorded his urgent message. High Command, I must report a critical reassessment of human capabilities. Today they successfully repelled a Morve attack force using only mining equipment and improvised weapons. Their apparent harmlessness conceals deadly potential. They display battle tactics that are unpredictable yet effective. They continue fighting despite injuries that would incapacitate our people. Humans are not what they appear. Their peaceful demeanor masks surprising combat capabilities. I strongly recommend reclassification of this species. As he ended the transmission, Hajun looked out the viewport at the blue planet below. For the first time since arriving, he felt something new when regarding these small, seemingly fragile beings. Fear. Science Officer Jun spread the images across the display table in the embassy's secure room. Ambassador Hajun and 5 other Valhari officials gathered around, their skin shifting between concerned purple and alarmed orange. I've been studying human evolutionary history, Jun explained, pointing to primitive human figures chasing animals across ancient plains. This explains much about their unusual capabilities. Hajun leaned closer. They look even weaker in these old images. That's what makes them remarkable, Jun said. Humans evolved as persistence hunters. Unlike predators with claws and fangs, they simply chased prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. That makes no sense, said Security Officer Ta. How could slow, weak creatures catch faster animals? Endurance, Jun replied. Humans can sweat to cool themselves. They can run for hours, days even, while most animals overheat and must stop. They don't need to be the fastest. They just need to keep going until their prey cannot. Cultural Liaison Min stepped forward, her skin a thoughtful blue. This explains their unusual pain tolerance and healing abilities. They evolved to continue despite injuries. Exactly, Jun nodded. Now look at these. The display changed to show human warfare through history. Bloody battles with primitive weapons, massive war machines, explosions that destroyed entire cities. Hajum's skin paled to a sickly white. They've been fighting each other for their entire history, almost without pause somewhere on their planet, Jun confirmed. Their recorded history is essentially a war chronicle with brief periods of peace. Security Officer Tay's skin flashed bright red. This species is dangerous. They should be contained immediately. Min raised a hand in protest, her skin shifting to a calming green. But look at what else they create. She touched the controls. The images changed to human art galleries, concert halls, libraries filled with books, children playing in parks, hospitals where humans cared for the sick. They're paradoxical, Min said softly, capable of terrible violence, but also remarkable beauty and compassion. They fight wars but also build peace organizations. They create weapons and healing medicines with equal skill. Hajum studied the images carefully. Such contradictions are rare among sentient species, and potentially very dangerous, Tai insisted. High Command must be informed. 3 days later, the Valhari High Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from across their 3 galaxies attended virtually. Hajum presented the new findings about human capabilities and history. The debate lasted for hours. Some council members advocated immediate withdrawal from Earth. Others suggested stronger military presence. The final decision was careful and measured. Humans would be reclassified as a potential security concern, and plans would be developed to restrict their expansion beyond their solar system. We will maintain diplomatic relations, the council leader told Hajun. But you must begin preparing humans for restricted status. They cannot be allowed free travel through Valhari space. Their technology transfers will be limited to non-military applications. They won't like these restrictions, Hajun warned. They need not know the true reasons, the leader replied. Tell them it's standard procedure for new species. The containment protocols will be implemented gradually over the next 5 Earth years. Hajun returned to Earth with his new instructions. He met with his senior staff to plan this delicate transition. We must be careful how we present this, he told them. Humans must not realize they're being contained rather than welcomed. Unknown to the Valhari, their secure communications had not been as secure as they believed. Human intelligence agencies had developed quantum decryption methods far beyond what their apparent technology level should have allowed. In an underground facility beneath Seoul, a team of human analysts was reviewing the intercepted Valhari Council meeting. So they finally figured us out, said Director Kang, a small woman with steel gray hair. Only partly, replied her deputy. They recognize our physical capabilities, but still underestimate our technological level. They don't realize we've been hiding our true advancement. Director Kang nodded. They think those Mars miners fought off the Morve with pickaxes and shovels. They don't know about the prototype plasma weapons we've reverse-engineered from studying their ships. What's our next move? Asked the deputy. We accelerate our plans, Kang decided. Contact Ambassador Sunmai. Tell her it's time for Phase 2. The next morning, Hajun was in his office preparing diplomatic messages when his assistant entered, skin flickering with surprise. Ambassador, Human Diplomatic Services have just contacted us. Their Ambassador Sunmai has requested an emergency session with the full Galactic Council. She insists on addressing all species, not just the Valhari. Hajun froze, his skin draining to pale white. That's impossible. Humans don't even know about the Galactic Council. We haven't told them about the other species yet. Science Officer Jun, who was present for the meeting, looked up with sudden alarm. They know, he whispered. Somehow, they know. Hajun felt his heart racing. But how? Our communications are encrypted with quantum technology beyond human understanding. Perhaps, Jun said quietly, we should stop assuming what humans can and cannot understand. Hajun stared out the window at the Seoul skyline. The humans moved about their business, looking small and harmless in the morning light. But now he saw them differently, not as simple primitives, but as clever hunters who had perhaps been watching the Valhari just as carefully as the Valhari had been watching them. Request a secure channel to High Command. Hojun said, "We have a serious problem." The Galactic Council chamber was like nothing humans had seen before. Huge crystal arches soared overhead. Representatives from 27 species sat in circular tiers. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien, floating gas clouds, crystalline structures, and beings made of pure energy. Ambassador Hejun stood nervously beside Ambassador Sunmei. She was a small woman in a simple black suit, looking tiny among the various alien forms. Yet she showed no fear. "This is unprecedented," whispered the council leader to Hejun. "No species has ever requested a council appearance before formal introduction to the Galactic Society." Hejun's skin flickered with embarrassment. "I apologize for this irregular situation." "No need," the leader replied. "We are curious." The chamber quieted as Sunmei stepped forward. She bowed respectfully to all sides. "Honored representatives of the galaxy," she began in a clear voice. "Thank you for allowing me to speak. I come to clear up some misunderstandings about my species." The screens around the chamber activated, showing Earth. "You have been watching us," Sunmei continued. "You have seen our physical forms and assumed we are weak. You have observed our technology and assumed we are primitive. You have studied our peaceful interactions and assumed we are harmless." The screens changed to show ancient human hunters chasing prey across open plains. "We evolved as persistence hunters," she explained. "We may not be the strongest or fastest, but we never stop. When faced with challenges, humans continue forward." Some council members shifted uncomfortably as the screen showed human warfare throughout history. "Yes, we can be dangerous," Sunmei acknowledged with a sad nod. "Our history is bloody. We have fought ourselves more than any outside threat." Many council representatives drew back slightly. Hejun noticed several security officers moving closer. Then the images changed again. Now they showed hospitals where human doctors saved lives, artists creating beautiful works, scientists preserving endangered species, volunteers helping after disasters. "But we choose peace whenever possible," Sunmei said. "We value creation over destruction. We have learned from our violent past." The screens split to show both sides of humanity simultaneously. Military training exercises alongside peace conferences, weapon factories beside hospitals, soldiers and doctors working side by side. "We come as friends," Sunmei said firmly, "but we will defend ourselves if necessary. We hope this honesty can be the foundation for true understanding between us." Then came the revelation that shocked the council. Sunmei touched a small device on her wrist, and the screens displayed human technology far beyond what the Valhari had observed. Ships that could travel between stars, energy weapons that rivaled Valhari capabilities, and medical advances that seemed almost magical. "We have hidden our true technological level," Sunmei explained. "Not out of deception, but caution. History has taught us to be careful when meeting more powerful civilizations." The council chamber burst into alarmed discussions. Security officers moved closer to Sunmei, but the council leader raised a hand to stop them. "You have weapons that could destroy Valhari ships," one representative accused. Sunmei nodded. "Yes, just as you have weapons that could destroy Earth. Knowing this, shall we choose fear or trust?" A long silence followed. Then the council leader spoke. "In 10,000 years of galactic diplomacy, no species has ever approached us this way." A strange sound came from the leader's communication device, something like laughter. "It is refreshing." 3 hours later, after intense discussion, the council reached its decision. Humans would not be classified as a contained species. Instead, they would receive a new designation never used before: voluntary pacifists with defensive capacity. After the formal proceedings, Hojun and Sunmei sat in a small garden room in the council building. A servant had brought tea, leaving them alone to talk. Hojun watched as Sunmei calmly poured 2 cups. His skin had settled into a deep blue, the Valhari color of revelation and new understanding. Why did your species pretend to be less than you are? He finally asked. You could have shown your true capabilities from the beginning. Sunmiss smiled gently as she handed him a cup. We didn't pretend. You assumed. There's a difference. But you allowed those assumptions, Hojun said. Of course, she replied. When meeting strangers, isn't it wise to observe before revealing everything? You watch, you learn, you decide if they are friend or threat. She sipped her tea before continuing. Humans seem harmless until we're not. It's both our greatest flaw and our greatest strength. Hejun nodded slowly, understanding filling him. The Council's new classification for Earth is appropriate then. Voluntary pacifists with defensive capacity. A fair assessment. Sunley agreed, pouring more tea. We prefer peace, but we prepare for its absence. What happens now? Hejun asked. Now we build something new, Sunmai said. True alliance requires honesty. No more watching from shadows. No more hiding capabilities. Equal partners seeing each other clearly. That night, Hejun completed his final report to Valhari High Command. In humans, we have found not just a new ally, but a mirror that shows our own assumptions. They remind us that appearances are often misleading. True strength lies not in having power, but in wisely choosing when not to use it. The humans understand this better than we do. Perhaps that is why they survived their violent history and emerged still capable of kindness. We have much to learn from each other. As he sent the report, Hejun looked out at the stars. For the first time, he felt something new when thinking about humans. Respect. The end.